Hello everyone and welcome back to week 2 of the Lotus Premier League. It's not Premier League, I actually need Primrose League. Thank you, Jace. Where we have DZG Olympus taking on their Scarlet. My name is Trajan and I'll be your play-by-play caster to this evening, being joined by Jace as our color caster. Jace, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Just a little bit nervous about tonight because, like I've telling you earlier, have not really been around for preseason. Glad they banned Vex because I don't know what she does, bro, but I'm ready for it. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think we're going to see, a lot of different changes and adaptations that are coming out right now. Seeing the Zillion and Nocturne both getting picked up here by bans for Dare Scarlet. Zillion, a champion that we've seen honestly, we've seen a absolute ton of play getting put onto by Ginshu of DZG Olympus, and then obviously the Vex is just a really good champion in terms of scaling burst and offers a lot of play, and it is one that I know Wombat for the side of Dare Scarlet has been playing a decent amount of.
Yeah, absolutely, and I really want to see a whole bunch of adjustments coming out of DZG Olympus because last week when they were hit with the games. They just didn't seem to have a great read on the preseason. The mid lane Sejuani came out and really interrupted a lot of what they wanted to do. But Jinx coming in here now for Dare Scarlet, and she has been one hell of a powerful way to carry in this mode.
Yeah, we're seeing the Jinx getting locked in, just, you know, a very strong scaling ADC. That's kind of what a lot of the metas come back to. We're seeing a lot of junglers see a resurgence up in that, or tanks in that jungle's position now. Your Sejuani's, your Amumus, your Zacs are really good. But the Xayah Rakan is going to be the immediate response here from DZG Olympus. Now, range from the bot lane won't be quite as good, but the reach is going to be incredible for them. Rakan being able to dash to Xayah from that increased range, get that attack speed buff. It's going to be really, really difficult to kind of navigate and look to, you know, all in on this bot lane for the side of Olympus.
Absolutely. The Lovers Duo coming in is going to give them a lot of engage tools, but I think that, Jana, if that does get locked in, that's really going to be able to cause some degrees of separation for the team, and maybe even kind of ruin what Rakan wants to do here. So, not entirely sure about how this bot lane matchup plays. I haven't seen too much Jana recently, but how are you feeling about that one so far?
So I actually really like the Jana pick here, right? Because Xayah Rakan is not necessarily... Rakan is the aggression in that lane. Xayah is the more or less the person that wants to be able to follow up. She's not the one that initiates a lot of stuff, and that's just due to her range being shorter. So Jana just means that Jinx inherently has the safety in lane to be able to kind of sit and scale. And, you know, with those additional shields and the Zephyr slow, it's going to be really hard for DZG Olympus to make anything really happen here in the bot lane. And the Xin Zhao pickup for them is awesome here. He's still, you know, been at the top of the charts in terms of jungle pressure and junglers for most ranks, especially in Platinum, which is where we're playing at right now. But it does look like Olympus is going to respond here with the Hecarim. This is a champion that I don't think I've seen Neebs actually play too much of, but from the champions I've seen him play, he's played a lot. So, and he's always been very consistent on them. So I suspect that won't be an issue here at all.
So I got to mess around yesterday with the lethal tempo changes, and I think they're definitely pretty interesting. So that attack speed being increased and really giving him a little bit more to do, and then also just it felt extremely powerful. Now, are you expecting a lethal tempo coming out of the Xin Zhao jungle, or are you expecting maybe the more traditional Conqueror approach?
I honestly fully expect to see the lethal tempo. It hasn't received its nerf yet. It is on the chopping block for next patch to get a slight nerf, but being completely honest, it's absolutely insane on him. He's able to get a really fast Q reset. It, you know, synergizes with his passive. Every third auto gives him additional healing, so it's just a whole lot of what they want to, his kit wants to be doing, and the trade-off of, you know, the loss of attack damage from Conquer isn't that bad. But we do see here in the final rounds of bans, you know, some really good picks that are into Camille, so the Shen, the Poppy, and even, you know, Rakan as well. Just kind of setting themselves up for that. So Octofu will be getting that Camille up in the top lane blind, and this is actually a pretty traditional top laner, and if anyone who knows him, he's known for his exotic picks. So I'm kind of excited to see what he wants to do up here. Scarlet is gonna, looking for probably a set response. They're looking for that disengage potential, right? You have the Johnny, you have the Xin Zhao with his Crescent Guard, then you have the set with his showstopper, so it's going to be really hard for Olympus to be looking for these fights that want to stick.
Yeah, absolutely, and anytime that Camille tries to go in for the quick execute on Jinx, there's a lot of things that have the opportunity there to really protect her. That ultimate coming out of the Jana, set with his ultimate being able to pick up that Camille and take her out as well, so definitely a lot of tools there to protect this Jinx without a traditional tank line. What do you feel in this vibe pick?
So knowing the coach for Olympus, he is currently mauling that Vladimir got picked right now, because with Predator still being in as good of a position as it is with the Ingenious Hunter buffs that we received on their last patch for preseason, Vladimir is very strong. But this Kassadin hover, I really like it. Kassadin has been one of those champions that we've seen come up as a huge counter pick to a lot of your strong middle laners right now, and with the Shattered Crown being released for this preseason, that item has just synergized really well with him, and you can see, even have Kassadin just start going a much tankier build. We've been seeing him going Frozen Heart and Winter's Approach, which will then transform into Fimbulwinter, so he has the mana pool, because his ultimate, you know, scales better with mana, with maximum mana. So just, you know, having that massive pool and those tank stats just mean he's that much harder to deal with.
It reminds me of the good old days of like Tank Echo Top and things that you would see in those kind of floating around the meta back then. But I like this draft a lot. It's going to really come down to a lot of the execution here, I think. Camille being able to go into the side lanes, Cassidy being able to do his Rift Walk shenanigans that he always does. But I definitely think that the ease of execution is on the side of Dare Scarlet. But I really like the draft coming out of here of DZG Olympus. Unless you disagree with that. But I really liked how they maneuvered the draft around to really set this Camille up for success. No Shen, no Poppy. I think that Camille should have a really favorable matchup into the set.
Okay, sorry, I'm still processing that you're drawing parallels with good League of Legends and Tank Echo Top. That's
I said I enjoyed it, all right? I abused it, guilty. It was fun, okay? Like, leave me alone.
But no, I definitely agree. I think both teams actually navigated these drafts quite well. They have really good scaling on the sides of what they want to be doing, but they also have the ability to skirmish early, which is what they want to be doing. Camille set both really strong bruisers that want to be skirmishing against each other. And then you also have, on the other side, you got Jinx, Xayah, Rakan, Janna, right? Jinx is obviously going to be able to eventually outrange the Xayah, but the Xayah, it's so hard for her to actually get engaged on and for CC to hit her that if, Vladimir tries to get on top of her, if he doesn't one-shot her immediately, it just, she's able to get her feathers off, get the Feather Storm, pull them back, and now all of a sudden, well, you've taken, most of your health bar while you're getting beat down by a Cassidy. So, I think it's really going to come down to just team fight execution, and for Olympus, they have to be really careful. Them looking for picks where they have numbers advantage, so looking for those 4v5s, those 4v3s, is going to be really, really crucial to it, because in a straight 5v5, if the game goes, past 25-30 minutes, Scarlet is going to have a lot of tools available to themselves.
Absolutely. The Vladimir scaling has just always been insane, and Jinx, I still feel she hard outscales the Xayah, but now it's going to be a matter of if they're able to kill the Jinx versus if they're able to kill the Xayah, or really get that team fight dynamic set up. But as you already mentioned, it's going to be really down to the cards to see how these pieces are going to maneuver on the chessboard to really establish these team fights and get that execution. And I know that these Drakes coming in for this preseason throw a huge wrench into that. What map are you trying to see here, Trey?
Honestly, I'd really, really like to see a Hextech Rift. I think that the Hextech Rift offers such new ways to play the map and to play around it without making the game feel unbalanced or unfair, right? Chemtech Rift has, of late, and most people can agree with this, is incredibly lopsided, as is the Soul. And if you're the team that's behind and you get a Chemtech Rift, you feel like the game is almost impossible to play. You can't push for vision. You're having to defensively use your pink wards and your control wards, in that rift to be able to just get a glimpse of what could potentially be happening there, and it just limits your ability to play forward. So I really want to see a nice Hextech Rift, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I definitely think those portals offer a lot of interesting ways to move around the map. I played a couple games yesterday, and I think we got it like twice, and I forgot to use it the entire time. Team yelling at me, we're like, just take the portal. But no, it's exciting to see. Preseason's a little wonky, a little crazy right now, but we see both sides locked in. I personally think that DZG have the better draft here if they execute it properly. But where are you placing your money right now?
I'm going to be completely honest. I think Scarlet is going to... I'm going to have to go with Scarlet's draft on this, unfortunately. I really think the Xin Zhao is going to be a much bigger problem than you or I are really assessing as spectators. But even in the game, I think Xin Zhao just does so good against what Olympus wants to have happen. So we'll have to see. It's going to be, a hell of an interesting game for us. But with that being said, we are going to cut to a short break as we wait for the spectator delay to tick on down for us. But make sure you don't go anywhere, friends, as we will be back shortly with our game 1 of DZG Olympus versus Dare Scarlet in week 2 of the Lotus Primrose League.
Alright, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we are excited to announce our sponsor for this stream. It's going to be Raid Shadow Legends. Go ahead and download it for mobile or PC and use our link. You can type in !raid in the chat and get that link. Or feel free to check out some of our merch that just launched. You can use !merch in the chat to get the link for our store. We'll be right back. and we are good.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our first game of our series where we have DZG Olympus taking on Dare Gaming, and we can see right now is DZG is looking for a cheeky little level 1 invade here, as the 5-point is going to come out here for Dare. They might try to catch Super Chase on the set off guard, but we'll have to see as he is postured pretty defensively, so
see them coming
they're
in
walking
now.
for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to land on him. He's going to flash forward, and the dash is going to be on top of him there. He's going to be ignited. He's going to take the W, but it won't be enough, as it will be first blood picked up for Reels now. And, you know, that was... it's a pretty good pickup for them. You know, timer hasn't crested quite 1 minute yet for them, so now you're going to see Reels backing on the side, be able to pick up an extra longsword, I would assume, for themselves. Yep, it will be that. So at the end of the day, it costs you know, Ginshu's flash, which is not going to be the biggest deal, as he will be able to dash from a pretty long range over to Reels in that lane, the Lovers Duo, and Octofu's Ignite, which in this lane against Set, you know, you're probably not going to be using it a ton unless you're going for some early cheese like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Super Chase knew that he was dead to rights right there. He didn't even bother with the flash. He just accepted his fate. hopefully was able to ping out for his team that the Flash isn't going to be available for Ginshu, and Tofu's not going to have that Ignite available. But it's going to be a super low cooldown before Camille even wants to use it again. But that gold going over really is going to help that Lovers duo get ahead and maybe give them a little bit of an edge to prevent this Jix from being able to scale. So we'll see how that all pans out.
And you can see here now that Neebs has decided to start pathing towards bot lane. It's going to be a grand entrance going on in there. Glacial is going to slow down Nesquik quite a bit, but it won't be able to be followed up quite as much there as some rockets from Nesquik are going to come back in and trade onto Reels. But still, overall, a pretty good trade going in favor of DZG there. That was the other thing I was going to mention is that Glacial was, in fact, taken. That's going to be another grand entrance.
Oh, and there's the
flash.
flash.
Coconuts there. So now Janna, with no flash, Hecarim pathing down towards bot side is, starting to put this bot lane for Dare in a bit of a a precarious situation. Meanwhile, Hookshot is going to land here from Tofu. He's going to take a really big haymaker to the face, but we'll be able to shrug it off a little bit there as both top laners do heal up with their Doran shields. That's going to be another grand entrance to Glacial to so much slowing on them there. Oh my god, that's insane.
Ginshu just going for it time and time again, and with Janna not having that flash, that's going to be a very prime target for them to hopefully be able to lock down. If they're able to. Now, granted, the shield coming in is going to be pretty big, but Zaya having a little bit of extra damage there with the longsword from that first blood, let's give them... And Ginshu again!
He's just going in with that grand entrance off of cooldown. The bot lane for Dare just is not respecting it, and we're seeing that, Scarlet's continuing to get punished for it. Tofu's going to be able to prop that passive, get a little bit of shielding on there for himself, but both these top laners are just kind of satisfied with beating each other down. And we talked about the lethal tempo on the Jhin, Jace. What do you think about the lethal tempo on the set?
I definitely think that it's going to be interesting to watch. That attack speed coming in with his Q enhance is going to be extremely strong. That passive coming in, we're seeing this damage just roll out from Super Chase here. He's going to hit the sweet spot there, not going to be able to follow it up. But yeah, that damage output is going to be nasty. And if I'm not mistaken, we see it going in from Neebs.
Yeah, it's going to be a Wind Becomes Lightning going back in here on Neeps. Is going to use the Ghost Strike, get away, going to get knocked up, and that might just be a kill picked up for them, but no, the Ghost will be enough to get him away out of that, or as we do see that Wombat was able to pool in time to be able to avoid getting back by that devastating charge, which could have resulted in a kill if it had hit. So, it's going to be a flash for a Ghost from both junglers, so nothing, pretty even across the board for them, but now Mobster Penguin does have a wave to contend with in front of his his turret, excuse me.
If things are still the same from back when I played mid, all Kassadin needs to do is just hold out, not die, because it's one of those champions where you're super vulnerable until you hit that level 6, and then you have a lot of options. But as I said it, Trey, the flash coming in from Wombat, taking down Mobster Penguin, and just not able to hold out till that level 6 comes in. But that jungle intervention there from Cloud Jonin really coming in and interfering, but here we see Neebs.
Yep, he's going to get hit by the devastating charge as well as Hookshot still has the flash available. Going to see a big haymaker flash come out. It's not going to be enough to finish off Awkward Tofu, and now it's going to be just Neebs trying to run him down. Tofu going incredibly low, grass proc just barely enough to keep him alive, and that will be a kill picked up here. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Cloud has made his way into the bot here, trying to get on top of Ginshu, who had to use the flash and ignite to get out of there to save his life. And both I am loving what we're seeing right now. Both teams have scaling compositions, but they're not just going, okay, we're just going to sit here for 30 minutes and let our carries scale and try to go for these fights. Both teams being very proactive across the map, looking for these things that they can get. Wombat very confident on that solo kill in mid lane. The flash E and the power transfusion was just enough to pick up the solo kill onto Mobster. And more importantly, Mobster lost his Dark Seal stack while Wombat was able to get 2 onto his now, so it's going to be very, very dangerous on this Vladimir, who has an XP advantage now, who is 6, who's starting to slowly stack those Dark Seal stacks.
Yeah, absolutely, and the craziest thing, too, is how close that top lane exchange was there for that set. He went in for the flash on the Haymaker, wasn't able to connect with that sweet spot, and then Camille going in just to offer that little bit of additional damage there, I think survived with sub 100 health, but you were seeing it go in. Yeah, Camille.
That's going to be a Hextech Ultimatum coming out there. Wombat healing up from the ultimate Master Penguin going in with the Riftwalk, just going barely too short, getting incredibly low now, as we do see Cloud has made his way into this mid lane. Riftwalk will be enough to get him out. Neebs is going to be in the bot lane fight, forcing the flash out of Nesquik on this Jinx, as the traps were not armed in time, but now we can see that the advantage in the mid lane here for the side of Dare Scarlet is starting to really show itself. Wombat incredibly powerful on this Vladimir, up 15 CS in the match right now, and Master Penguin forced to stay in lane.
Yeah, game of inches so far, like, just everybody's surviving with just a little sliver of a health bar. We're early in that bot lane exchange, I didn't even get a chance to finish my thought before we had another engagement going down. But we're seeing this just go back and forth. You know, Reels was able to get a perfect feather recall there to stop the Xin Zhao engage in the bot lane. The fight happening top lane with Camille. The Wombat barely surviving with you know, just inches on that Riftwalk not connecting, or the Camille not being able to get the additional damage in on that Vladimir. But this game has just been nothing but non-stop excitement. The scoreboard doesn't really show it, but man, this is fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, kills are favoring DZG Olympus right now. We can kind of see that it's reflected in that gold just a little bit for them right now. We're seeing just about 1,000 gold lead for them. A 20 CS lead in the bot lane with wave pushing into them is absolutely massive. Cloud doesn't quite have the flash available, doesn't have the Crescent Guard available, but is going to be unspotted. So we'll see if he wants to look for something here. But both bot lanes are going to be close to hitting level 6 here, and he has to be able to respect that. Right now, if I were them, yeah, I mean, Vladimir's roamed. They're looking to either go for a dive or go for this dragon, and Reels and Ginchu have sniffed it out. They are not going to let that happen and are going to deny the wave to crash into the turret, so it's just going to be a dragon that's going to be getting up here for by DZG. We'll have to see if they can get anything else out of it. Tofu going to go for a hookshot into Super Chase there. It's going to be an unstoppable force coming out. Super Chase Fear going to be able to try to get away from Neebs with that showstopper, but it won't be enough, as the Ignite and Red Buff will be enough to pick up the kill for them there. So DZG able to make action happen across the other side of the map, and this is what you want to see, Jace. A high level of proactivity. If you're going to give something up, you need to take something for it.
Absolutely, them getting that kill in there really getting things rolling for DZG here and opening up the most amount of opportunity that they can to compensate for losing that Drake. Unfortunately, it is on the Heck Room, and this Camille's not really getting the lead that they need, but how are you feeling with this gold going into the Heck Room? I know you talked about in the draft phase of not getting. Oh,
that's going to be Ginchu going on in there with the heroic. With the grand entrance, jumping back. It's going to be the root landing up here on Real. Still has the Feather Storm available for himself. Nesquik and Chill doesn't have any mana. Neither does Coconuts, but Cloud.
No flash available.
We get it double Ginchu. Nesquik going to pick up the first kill. That's going to be a Crescent Guard coming out here. Feather Recall going to be not enough, as Cloud picking up one kill for himself, one for his ADC, as Reals was unfortunately knocked up as he came out of the animation for the Feather Storm, so it wasn't enough to be able to get away from it. And now it's going to be evening up the kills across the board for both teams, still sitting at just under 1,000 gold lead for DCG Olympus, but that does a massive amount of work for the bot lane of Dare Scarlet. Now Jinx on the board, able to start getting those items to where she wants to be, and getting herself to be more of an online late game scaling threat.
Yeah, certainly. And now Vladimir also has the tier 1 boots as well. Predator is unlocked. We're seeing Ginchu look here in the mid lane now, trying to line something up. We see Neebs here as well, Trey.
Yeah, Devastating Charge is going to run out in time, though. He's not going to be able to get it on top of Wombat there. Cloud is here. You're going to see the Super Mega Death Rocket coming in, knocking Penguin under half health now. Neebs has to run away from this engagement, as Coconuts was able to make his way up there as well. Tofu trying to get a bit of a fight here onto Super Chase. Going to take another Haymaker to the face. Going to see him go for a hookshot in, but it isn't enough, as he's just out of range. And that's going to be a showstopper coming in, and a solo kill picking up for Solo Chase here. 1 and 3 on the, 0 and 3 on the set, able to pick up a solo kill on this Camille is absolutely massive for the side of Dare Scarlet.
Absolutely, and that facebreaker, I'm not sure if you saw it, but it was the funkiest tip box of a facebreaker connecting I've ever seen. And then after that, I think that Tofu just wanted to try to get something out of the trade and not get bullied around, but it just did not go his way, as Monster Penguin is forced to flash.
Oh, no, he's going to be able to flash away, not have to worry about it, but the pool is going to be ticking away on him there, and Wombat is going to come back up. Going to be able to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, Neebs is going to jump here onto top of Super Chase, going to get a full stack on that lethal tempo, forced to use the unstoppable onslaught to get away, and we can see that just the sheer power out of lethal tempo coming up is absolutely massive for them. And Coconuts has just been landing all of these hooks, those tornadoes. Meanwhile, top lane Tofu is going to use the Hextech ultimate to try to get on top of Super Chase, going to get slowed by the wind comes lightning. Chase is going to have to flash away from that, but will escape with his life. And now you can see it sets passive, just slowly bringing him back up into this world of living.
Yeah, and Cloud has just been where he needs to be. The bot lane play, turning that on its head, picking up 2 kills there. Going up top lane to really interfere with that Hextech ultimatum coming from Tofu to get the trade kill, but Neebs here again, going again. We see the teleport.
Geechi's gonna flash, get on top of Nesquik, gonna be able to get the taunt off. They're immediately gonna try to return focus onto Coconut, but Wombat has been able to make it in there, gonna get ignited up. That's gonna be a Featherstorm going the opposite direction for Reels there. A bit of a micro misstep for the main mob. Penguin has made his way into this fight. Wombat trying to get as much distance as he can, as he does get the Empower Transfusion off. Will be healing up quite a bit there. Ginchu going back in, getting a 2-man knockup with the Grand Entrance, trying to pull something out of here for the team, but now Cloud has made his way to the fight, does have access to the ultimate, but he won't be able to land. The wind becomes lightning, and both teams are going to disengage there, as we did see the TP get burnt from Wombat. So a TP coming out for them is not the worst thing in the world. Predator is going to get popped as he tries to follow Monster Penguin back into that mid lane. But, you know, Jace, you got to feel like that is definitely a trade that you're happy with. But meanwhile, Penguin is still trying to get on top of Wombat, able to get him incredibly low, but respecting the fact that Vladimir most likely does have his pool available. Meanwhile, Neebs is trying to get him with the Devastator charge. He's going to be able to get him, and that's going to be a shutdown. That's absolutely massive there. Wombat had the Empowered Transfusion up, but wasn't able to cast it in time before he got knocked back, and that little bit of a stun was there enough to kill him. Meanwhile, Neebs going to get jumped on here by Jonan. It's going to be a 2 versus 1, and the Crescent Guard is not going to be enough to keep him alive, as now it's going to be another kill picked up there. Neebs on a rampage, 4-0 on the second round. Divine Thunder is done. That Herald is crashing into mid turret, and that's going to be so much gold going over to DZG now, just kind of starting to creep that lead ever and ever bigger. But that's a huge super mega deathmarker coming out from Nesquik in the mid lane, picking up the kill onto Monster Penguin. You know, honestly though, that is the best target for it to hit, if you know, besides it missing. Neebs is the one with the shutdown, is the one who's 4-0, and that would have killed him had it connected. So, you know, we can just say Monster Penguin taking one for his team there.
Or, you know, Miss would have been better, but I never even get a chance to formulate a thought, because here we go again, Trey.
Lancelot's going to come in. He's going to get exhaust coming out here from Nesquik. Took a little bit of a step forward and a step back, and it's going to be a step to the gray screen there for Nesquik and Chill. Can think about that one while we see the rest of DZG start to posture potentially for, you know, this Chemtech Rift that's coming up now. You know, we talked about this in Champion Select, Jason. Not the biggest fan of it, and I think we'll see why here as the game progresses. But, you know, gold lead about 1,500 gold, just under, for DZG Olympus. They're really not giving up on a lot of these fights. Both teams being very aggressive, being very proactive, and, you know, that's what we like to see out of here.
And you can tell that it's game one. There's been so many micro plays and missteps, and it's just been a seesaw of whatever team's making the most mistakes or setting up well. We saw DZG take a really good early posture and really hammer out some early leads, especially starting off of the mental that I'm sure that level 1 gave them. And then just it seesawed, and now we're probably having more action.
Penguin, what you doing there? You don't have any mana. That's going to be a Ginshi's trying to jump in, trying to do what he can to save his mid lane, but he's going to get knocked up, tossed around, knocked back with Super Mega Deathmark. It's going to connect on 4 people. That's going to be TP coming in here from Super Chase. Does have the move speed. He does have access to the Showstopper, but it won't be needed as Wombat picks up a quick kill onto Ginshu. He's trying to get in front of Neebs or anyone, but it will be for naught. But at the end of the day, it's going to be 1 kill going over to the side of Dare Scarlet, and they're looking to crack 2 turrets here potentially. Nope, at once. It might just be the mid turret going down there for them. But yeah, really just underestimating the amount of damage that they're able to do. Tofu's going to try to get the top lane. Yep, he's able to get the first turret for his team up in the top lane now. Wave is going to get caught here. Neebs helping out his mid laner and clearing it, so that will be the mid tower saved for Olympus now. And that is a big turret that you don't want to give up, you know? Right? It's a lot of extra map pressure, a lot of vision control that you don't have to really worry about as long as that turret stands. And especially with, you know, Chemtech Rift on in play, it's really dangerous if you're not careful.
Absolutely, and we're seeing more action here again as Neebs goes on to Wombat here. I don't think there'll be a kill here. Maybe I stand
he's
corrected.
Gonna go for it. That's gonna be the pull coming out. Genshi is gonna try to go for it, gonna pop the Shrelia, so Neebs is gonna go unstoppable, picking up his 5th kill of the game. This man cannot be stopped. He is running rampant across the rift, and you know, it's really starting to pay dividends. He's been absolutely everywhere. Wombat got an early lead for himself, but that's going to be Neebs getting picked up by the Showstopper. Going to go drop down below half health, but the devastating charge and the dash here from Ginshu will be enough to get them all to safety. So it won't be Dare Scarlet able to get anything in return for it.
Yeah, and he went for it. He came down, but going back like 2 plays ago, because I feel like this happens every time. It's like I have a thought, and then we fight some more. But I feel like that was the best case scenario for DZG. Yes, they lost the fight in that little river skirmish. I'm a monster going a little overzealous there with his rift walks without any mana, especially since they have the exponential stack with the mana cost. Went in, and then it just kind of fizzled out, and they lost Genshu. But giving Camille up there in that top lane time to get that tower, and also denying them even if they had lost mid lane that first tower gold, I think was fantastic for the side of DZG. And then the follow-up play, but Genshu again, this
It's gonna
monster!
be a flash gun entrance going in on the Coconut's gonna be forcing out the monsoon from the meanwhile in the bot lane. Wamba and Mobs Penguin are going to be fighting here. Mid lane, the fight kind of continues up for us. Crescent Guard from Cloud's Jonan is going to be there, and the Rockets from Nesquik are going to be trying to pop him as much as he can. But meanwhile, Mobs Penguin getting incredibly strong now at this level 11 spike, just going incredibly aggressive onto Wombat. And you know, both mid laners just under half health now. It's going to see if he keeps going for it. Yes, he is. He's going to get him under a quarter health now, and that's going to be Wombat trying to get a transfusion back on top of him. Ultimate is going to go. It did hit him actually before he was able to get off. So Penguin has to back off of this fight now, as he has, you know, lost his edge in there. And I really think if you're going to be fighting against this Vladimir, you need to be picking up that Oblivion Orb, something just to give you a bit there. And that's going to be a flash come out for Wombat. Neebs is just continuously getting on top of this Vladimir. Pool's not going to be enough, as he'll be just taken away with another Q and an auto attack. That Sunder are doing a ton of damage, and Neebs just absolutely everywhere on this horse.
Yeah, he is showing up. And it must feel incredibly frustrating for the early game Kassadin. I 100% have felt it in the past. You really want that crown, but you also really want the tier stack. You want your boots. You want to be able to get that grievous wounds. But here we see Chase on to Tofu.
Yeah, he's going to go on, but Lethal Help is going to be able to do a lot for them. Does have the Gore Drinker finish. Meanwhile, Tofu does have his Sunder finish, waiting for the hookshot coming back up for him. Going to get a grass proc as well as that Q trade, but the Gore Drinker will kill to keep Super Chase quite healthy there. He's going to be able to pull him back in there. It's going to be Haymaker to the face, but now that's going to be Tofu going aggressive on him there, trading with the Ignite, and that's going to be Super Chase going down, forcing the flash out, and that's going to be a solo kill up for Tofu. Really, really well played there by Tofu, saving his key spells and abilities until after the Haymaker had been used, and now we can see that Genshu does have the ultimate available, does not have flash, but can look for it. He's going to get caught out here. Stopwatch, bind himself some time, going to be able to dash over to Reels, but he's going to go aggressive, force flash out, and Nesquik can chill. Dragon is going to get taken down by Neebs, who is going to get engaged on here by Wombat, looking for some revenge, get a little thirsty, but he will be able to get away, and meanwhile, Penguin is trying to rift walk his way back into base as he limps his way out there, but no fatalities for the side of DZG. Not quite yet. Wombat forced to use, but that's going to be the Zap picking up a kill on Genshu now. Nesquik 3-1 on this Jinx. Slowly starting to kind of get to that point where you have to start worrying about her. But, you know, Wombat able to salvage a little bit there for his team, turning what would have been a 1-for-0 with the top lane solo kill into a 1-for-1 for him. So gold has been slowly creeping in favor of DZG, though, Jace. They've worked their way up to just over a 3,000 gold lead now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that last fight was once again just so scary, and we do have a pause coming in, so maybe I'll actually be able to get out some coherent thoughts. But so many low health bars. I mean, the fact that they only lost Genshu in that last exchange was fantastic for them. They got the Drake, which, it is what it is. It's gonna, you know, allow them to start stacking for that win condition, sure. But, you know, we're still looking at some of these itemizations coming out. You know, Kassadin is just sitting on that one item. He has a fully stacked tier now. Whenever he finishes out that tier item that I will not try to pronounce, he's going to be extremely powerful. And Jinx, yeah, she's 3-1, sitting very comfortably with the gold. But how comfortable are you when you have a 6-0 Hecarim on the other side? Yes, you have the Monsoon from the Janna being able to deny, and also the Showstopper from Set as well, but you know, how much mileage is that really going to give you? And Kassadin's looking scary in these 1v1s despite Vladimir having, you know, the CS advantage and the kill advantage. Once he gets that Oblivion Orb, I think it's going to be a lot harder of a time for Kassadin to fight back, especially since a lot of these back and forths that you've seen coming out of Mobster Penguin with Wombat in the side lanes have been kind of more of a war of attrition, which you don't really want to play against the Vladimir. And once Kassadin, you know, hits those higher levels, like previously in the last fight, he was only level, what, 10? Maybe 9. He didn't have the reduced cooldown on that Rift Walk to really be able to optimize those windows when Vladimir doesn't have the transfusion. So I think it's going to be super exciting to be able to see how things pan out with some of these trades going. But we're looking right now to figure out the cause of the pause. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from the side of DZG here, Trey.
Yeah, it's a really, really good solid. It's a solid showing for them as we get into our first match of our evening and their second match of preseason, right? And I think the biggest thing for Olympus, what they need to recognize is who they need to be playing around right now, right? Your Hecarim is 6-0, has Asterix, has his Divine Sunder, and is up almost 40 CS on the enemy jungler. This man Neebs is so strong right now. You need to be playing around him and looking for him. He's been picking up a lot of kills, just here and there. When Wombat overextends or has a really extended fight with Mobster Penguin, able to snipe a kill there on him multiple times actually.
Yeah, and
But as
go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but as we get into these team fights, you need to really be watching him and make sure that he doesn't get CC locked, right? Because it's going to be pretty easy in these team fights if they're grouped up for Sinjao to knock him away or set to ult him out, or even Janna to just knock him up indefinitely. That is the big thing that Dare Scarlet has got going for themselves is their team has so many airborne effects that you just can't reduce the timing of at all because airborne isn't affected by tenacity.
Yeah, and another point too is it must be extremely frustrating for the side of Dare Scarlet because look at all this mobility that the side of DZG have. Like that last team fight was a perfect example. I think what everybody was sitting around 20-25% health. You have Zaya with her ultimate. You have Cassidy with Riftwalk. You have Hecarim who's just moving fast as all hell. You have Camille with the hook shots, and then you have the entrances coming in from Rakan. So like they're just super slippery and hard to lock down. And we're seeing those team fight elements that we talked about. Like, well, it could go either way depending on execution, and the execution has I can't tell if it's been sloppy or just a whole bunch of outplays or just a mixture of both. It's been absolutely nutty.
Yeah, I really think a lot of it has just been, both teams are struggling to find their footing in this game. And right now, Olympus is just the one that is arguably doing it better. Tofu's was able to secure himself an early lead. Yes, he's down CS, but you can see that he's still able to take these 1v1s against Super Chase. Neebs is just kind of kingdoming Cloud right now in the jungle on this Hecarim, just doing an insanely good job on it. And Mobster Penguin, yes, he's 0-3 on this Cassidon, but he's currently even in items with Vladimir right now, able to start really looking to put the pressure on the enemy team once he finishes that Winter's Approach that will immediately upgrade into the Fibble Winter, as getting those additional tank stats that Vladimir will have that much harder time getting through, because Vladimir doesn't have abilities that do percentage health. It's static numbers, so having the sheer HP isn't the worst thing to have in those instances. But meanwhile, for the side of Dare Scarlet, you have to look at the bot lane, right? Nesquik and Chill on the Shinx has exhaust, which is very, very important, by the way. 3-1 has the Zeal, has the Kraken Slayer, so is pretty even with Reels on gold. Probably down a little bit because of turrets, but is starting to become that a really strong threat for the side of Dare Scarlet, and I think Olympus needs to be really careful about playing around that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, there's no Grievous wounds out on the map yet, so he's just able to do what he wants to do for free. But let's go ahead and head out to a quick break real quick while we wait for this pause to resolve. No known issues yet on what's going on and what caused it or even what side has paused. So we'll go ahead and be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Hang with us, and then we'll bring you back as soon as we can for this game one of Dreadzone Gaming versus Dare Scarlet. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and unfortunately there was a little bit of a client issue that prevented us from actually getting out of that pause. The game continued on, and actually DZG Olympus took the dub. We have the post-victory screen pulled up for you right here that you can see. And it looks like Neebs just absolutely popped off. We already saw him 6-0 before the break happened, and then he ended up going 7-0. I wish I had a little bit more details for everybody, but this is what we got. Trey, you want to take a little bit of speculation here?
I don't necessarily think it's going to be speculation, more along the point of the fact that Olympus was just playing the map better from the way we're watching game one. And you can kind of see here and there that Nesco can chill on the Jinx, ended the game 5-5, was 3-1 at one point, so we picked up 2 additional kills and died an additional 4 times. So the game became very, very difficult for them to play, especially because Neeb's able to pick up that, Guardian Angel as the third item, just incredibly powerful. And then you look at Tofu, 3 items again, Guardian Angel, and then you look at Monster Penguin, has the 2 items fully stacked, has the Medjais, has that stopwatch. It's just really, really hard from a team who's behind to break through the level of aggression that DZG can throw at you with this composition. So more or less, kind of saw that advantage creep towards them in the early game. The mid game transition saw it go a little bit further, and then the late game we can see it just kind of blew it wide open.
Right on.
And honestly,
oh, sorry to interrupt you here, Trey, but we're actually into game 2 draft right now. We're seeing the bans coming out. So Dreadzone taking game 1 away, and it looks like they want to run back the bot lane again, or at least putting Genshu back on this Rakan. Like, it was insane the things that this man was doing on this Rakan pick, Trey.
Yeah, that's what I would very much expect to see out of them. Looking for these aggressive yet powerful picks that they can take advantage of, right? And the Rakan gives them the ability to do that, being able to have the aggression that you want, but also being able to play back. And Darius Scarlet's going to respond with Mr. 200 years himself. Aphelios is going to make his way under the rift, taking full advantage of that new lethal tempo rune. He's able to get some pretty insane plays off with that additional range he's allowed to get with it. So we will have to keep our eye on that, but I don't know what they want to pair with him in the bot lane, because it's the same issue again with Jinx, right? You're going for scaling, you're looking for opportunities like that, and they're gonna lock the Janna again. I think the Janna was fine in laning. I just think that the rest of the map was what suffered, and by the rest of the map I mean the jungle. The difference between the 2 junglers the last game was kind of monumental, and was what really set the game pace behind. Neebs ended the game 6,000 gold ahead of Cloud. So Scarlet are going to have to look for something that will be able to equalize that difference. Otherwise, Neebs is probably just going to run over this game again for them. And with the Jinx getting locked in here for Olympus, as well as the Camille, they're just going for it right now, I guess.
And I think that's really ambitious,
really
too. You still
confident.
have the Poppy up here, Trey. And I don't understand exactly the mentality of breaking up the Lovers duo. Maybe they just felt that the Xayah itself wasn't as impactful as it could have been, whereas Genshu had a lot of the tools to be able to do what they wanted. But we are going to have to see some sort of adaptation from the side of DZG, just like in the jungle role too, because Dare Scarlet said we are not dealing with that Hecarim again.
Yeah, taking the Hecarim, taking the Nocturne off the table right now. The Xayah, I'll be honest, Chase, wasn't picked up because she just can't lane against Aphelios. Aphelios has longer range than her at most stages of the game and is able to harass her with Janna to make the game nearly unplayable for them. So it's very, very difficult. And, you know, if you are able to get a good trade onto Aphelios, it's generally because he has good guns, right? Red, white, don't fight. And he'll be able to just kind of run at you. But we do see Dare taking away some of these really good jungle picks for them. Caston's going to get banned here as it is one of the best R5 picks right now in competitive draft for the amateur scene, in my opinion. Just because, like, if you know the rest of the comp, you know if he's going to be able to be good or not in this. I'd really expect to see Olympus to want to pick something like a Victor on their blue 4 pick if it doesn't get picked up by Scarlet here. But I suspect that they want to pick their jungler and leave counter pick up for mid.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vladimir still being available for the side of their Scarlet as well. Like, Wombat wasn't too terribly effective on it, but I think it's because he had a pony on his ass the whole entire time. But DZG does not want to give them the chance for that Victor. It's looking like here as they will take it off the table. So it's going to be some interesting picks coming out as, you know, the Kassadin's not going to be able to be replayed. The Vladimir is still on the table, but I don't know if Dare's going to want it. So we shall see. Expecting that jungle pick here, like you said, though.
Yeah, with the Victor ban, that signals to me that Olympus is thinking that they might pick their mid laner here and leave counter pick up for their jungler. But no, it does look like it might be a Sejuani. You know, it could be a Sejuani mid. We saw that in week 1. But I do highly doubt it. My biggest concern for Scarlet right now is that they are relatively low damage. You have a set which, yes, he does a good amount of damage, but Sejuani, Janna, and Set will eventually get outscaled and outranged by a Jinx, right? Aphelios is the only person on your team who can effectively try to do that, and with a Rakan, Camille, and a Vladimir trying to get into your backline, it's going to make it very, very difficult to actually get on top of her. You don't have you don't have any backline access if you're Scarlet right now.
Absolutely. And real quick, go ahead and I need you to talk for a few seconds, Trey.
Catching me mid yawn, but it does look like it will be a not a blind Trundle, but the Trundle pickup here is just absolutely huge if that's what Olympus locks in, and I believe it should be being able to, you know, let Sejuani get her Aftershock proc off and then just alter. The Subjugate just shreds any stats that she has because her passive will fall off. She loses so much from it. She's very, very squishy and easy to burst down. And then the flip side of it, you know, Set doesn't necessarily build tank stats, but when you take what he doesn't have a lot of, it makes it very, very difficult for him. So we'll have to see what they look for in this mid lane pick. I'm very curious to see what Wombat wants to pick up, and it looks like it will be a Zoe lock-in. This is a champion that we don't see a ton of in this elo, but you know, when she's executed correctly, she is absolutely a huge threat. And you know, I was talking about backline access. Don't need backline access when you don't have a backline. So one Sleepy Trouble Bubble and a Paddle Star and your ADC or the support are just dead. So
yeah, you're talking about Dare Scarlet not having a lot of damage. Well, they got a champion that can literally just eviscerate somebody from the map, especially she gets that max range Paddle Star onto a Jinx here. But, you know, it is nice seeing the side of DZG able to actually pick the Trundle jungle into the jungle Sejuani instead of them going for a, you know, the jungle Trundle into the Sejuani mid, which kind of threw him for a loop last time. And I'm fully expecting this to be an Aftershock Sejuani as well, but Zoe is one of those champions that irritates me, Aphelios is one of those champions that irritates me, and Dare Scarlet has both of them, so we'll see how they execute this one, but, and hopefully there are no pauses that just ruin your client this time.
Yeah, Riot's engineering is really paying its dividends for us, as we can see in this preseason. They invested all of their money into more skins, so they need to recoup it somehow. So we'll be gladly funding that expense for them. But looking at both these compositions and knowing how they played last game, I have to say I like DZG's position, but I think a lot of this is going to actually hinge on mid lane. Wombat was incredibly effective at getting early pressure onto Mobster Penguin, and we saw that happen in game one because, it's a Vladimir against a Cassidy matchup. One of them innately is able to stay in lane longer, so we'll have to see if the sustain from the transfusions and the pool are going to be enough for Penguin to keep himself alive in this lane, because otherwise Wombat will, be able to start looking to one-shot these backlines, your caster minions, and look for these roams, which can be incredibly impactful when you're not paying attention to a bubble coming through a wall at you.
Absolutely, especially with that summoner spell Zoe might be able to pick off of her debut as well. And another thing to talk about real quick before we go into break, Trey, is it's going to be an interesting dynamic to watch this mid lane, because last game you had a non-skill shot mid lane versus a non-skill shot mid lane. Now you're adding in that skill shot differential here, and it's going to be interesting to see how these two mid laners actually match up when there is, the dodging necessary to go on. I mean, Vladimir doesn't really offer it, but it's going to be really up to how he's able to dodge the Slippy Trouble bubbles and be able to impact them. And it's going to be on the trade side of the house if Wombat's actually able to land them as well. So it's going to be fantastic.
Yep, for sure, Jace. But with that being said, I do believe it is time we cut to another break for ourselves as we get loaded into this game. But for those of us who are just tuning in, we do want to give a huge shout out to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this stream with us. If you do !raid and !shop, you will actually see our new merch shop as well, where we have some pretty awesome items available for purchase. But let's go ahead and get ourselves into break, and don't go anywhere, as we will be back with Game 2 of DZG Olympus versus Dare Scarlet in the Lotus Primrose League Week 2. Hello everyone and welcome back to game 2 of our match this evening, where we have Dare, Scarlet, and DZG Olympus facing off in week 2 of the Lotus Primrose League. My name is Trajan, joined by Jace here on the color cast, and as both teams load onto the rift here, we can see that does look like Dare are positioning themselves to be on the watch there. They did suffer from a 5-man invade through top lane in game 1 and aren't willing to take that risk again. So you can definitely expect to, see them be a little bit on guard. We're seeing those adaptations coming out from them this early in the game, so they definitely know that they're fighting for their lives right now, and they're gonna put up a good fight, I'm sure.
As we can hope. Last game we just saw an absolute bloodbath. Not necessarily on the scoreboard kill-wise, but just the damage traits coming out consistently. Every single time that Ginchu had his engage ready, he was hitting it. Now, a little less excitement going into this one. Maybe, they got all of it out game 1, and maybe they don't want it, but we're already seeing those trades coming out. Electrocute going out on the Mobster Penguin on this Vladimir, so this mid lane matchup, I think, is really where I want to keep my eyes on this game here, Trey.
Yeah, Wombat just getting that early Electrocute proc onto Mobster Penguin just means it's going to be a little bit harder for them to be doing what they want to do. You can see that Cloud has opted to start on the top side and path towards bot this time, much like what Neebs did, and that's going to be Ginchu just going to level 1 again. Coconut is forced to start the Tornado instead of the Zephyr, which you normally want to start on Janna, trying to just buy some time for them, but using just about a third of your health on this Janna is really not where you want to be when you have, almost less than 500 health to start the game off.
Yeah, absolutely. Janna is not the tankiest of champions. Where are you expecting to see a lot of this jungle pressure coming out from either side, actually?
Right now we're seeing a bit of it up in top lane right now as Cloud is trying to make his way up to level 2. Gonna be able to not actually stop the hook shot away, so Tofu will be able to get away with his life, as we can see that not having access to that Arctic Assault, that Q, that dash, really does hurt you. But now you can see the range from Nesquik in this bot lane, just going to be beginning to try to abuse Reels as much as he can from that distance, saving up that sniper ammo as long as he can get those trades into them. Ginchu take another auto attack there, but from what we're seeing across it right now, it does look like things are relatively even. Wombat on this Zoe did opt to go for the corrupting pot, so it makes it a little bit easier. That's going to be another jump in there from Ginchu. Now this Control forced to walk forward. Exhaust is going to come out onto him. Reels is trying to cut his way out. That's going to be Ignite and a flash coming out from him. Reels looking to try to thread the needle and get that final kill, but it's not going to be there for him. Wombat using the cleanse as well as the Hextech Protobalt to get forward onto Mobster Penguin. Getting another Electrocute proc. Prelosar is going to connect onto him. Not going to be as much damage as he would like. Mobster Penguin does have the level advantage, but meanwhile in the top lane, Tofu is going to go for it. Not going to be able to get stunned up as we do see him take another haymaker to the face. Reels is getting slowed there and rooted up by Nesquik, but you're not going to be able to follow up on that as much as since Coconuts is unfortunately, in fact, a Janna this game. You know, I just realized something too.
Genshu
No, Gishu's going to
again.
go back in here real quick, though. Traps are not going to arm in time. You're going to get slowed down there. No flash on the Aphelios, so Root is going to land here up onto Coconuts as Reels is going to be able to back up just a little bit. Coconuts trying to get forward aggressively on there now. Cloud has made his way down to the bot lane. Level 3 finally does have the Arctic Assault and the flash available to himself. Is he going to try to go for it? He's going to go for it. He's going to get the slow onto Reels, force the flash out of him. Going to be able to get the stun, but is it going to be enough to pick up the kill? Reels is going to escape with just barely his life. Ginchu also dashing to safety, and that's going to be an execution coming out here for Nesquik, getting a little too close to that turret there, a little too overzealous from the side of Dare Scarlet. The death wasn't, you know, it wasn't first blood, which is really good, but you gotta feel now this Aphelios is going to be down so much CS in this lane.
Yeah, absolutely. So he wasn't able to get the kill. Oh, yeah, another trade going out. I think Super Chase is fine, though. But, yeah, the kill not being picked up by anybody on the side of DZG is a little bit, feels bad for that side. However, that wave, you know, is still kind of in their favor for them to be able to pick up, but Jinx was sitting on a 10 CS lead and was forced back almost under tower. That would have been a lot of free time for Aphelios and Janna to push a wave in, get it into an ideal position for them, and do what they wanted to do. But that execute kind of just ruined it all, and yes, they did get the flash out of...
Tofu's going to take a turret shot there. Super Chase is going to flash forward. Shield is going to be there to keep him alive. Ignite is going to come here from Tofu. Is trying to get the grass proc available for himself. Is it going to be in time? Yes, it is, and that's going to be first blood going over to Tofu. The precision protocol will be enough to get him that first blood with the grass proc, and you really have to respect it. Genshu going to get slowed down here by the Zephyr. He's going to look to go aggressive here.
Frontal's here.
Coconut does have the flash available. Nesquik does not. TP is going to come in here from Tofu. It's going to be one kill going over the Coconut, left out to dry now, as well as Nesquik and Chill going to get picked up, and that's going to be Tofu pick up a kill for himself. TP well deserved, and that's going to be 3 kills going over to DZG in less than a minute now, and that's going to be, oh, they're not going to go for the dragon, but you know, starting off with a 1,500 gold lead for themselves before the 6-minute mark is absolutely huge.
That's a repeat of game 1. Not necessarily the same situation there, but, you know, Super Chase going in, running after the Camille, who has like 2 HP left, and Camille just able to turn around and get that auto attack off. It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
It feels good for Camille and super bad for Super Chase. But yeah, no, the gold actually going through onto the Camille this time, so this should hopefully enable Octofu to be able to do things in the side lane where, yes, he was semi-efficient before, but now with the gold in his pocket, hopefully able to do a bit more. But this bot lane has just been super exciting to watch. Genshu and Reels just doing work in this bot lane, and, you know, Neebs just in the right place to be able to fully enable it. And Janna just, I guess, didn't have the respect there to flash in time. Maybe got CC chained, I'm not entirely sure, but you know, this is looking like a much better early game, and hopefully we don't see those seesaw effects that we saw last time. A good clean game would be absolutely fantastic to watch.
Yeah, and Jace, the big thing about it, Tofu's just going to run more into the mid lane, going to use the Hextech Ultimate, and we get on top of Wombat, but the Sleepy Trouble Bubble will be able to deter him, as Penguin wasn't able to get into position, but forcing out the flash from Wombat is huge on a champion like Zoe, especially for, you know, a simple roam, because you're getting frozen up here on the top lane. And for Dare, the biggest thing they're doing right now that is kind of, you know, starting to really give them some negative consequences is it doesn't seem like they're really tracking Neebs that well. It was, you know, rather apparent that he would be on that side of the map, but Nesquik and Coconuts just didn't respect it. And, you know, if you continue to not recognize where the enemy jungler is going to be pathing or where he's going to be, you're going to fall prey to these. And they're trying to crash this wave so desperately. Neebs is going to get spotted out here on vision, but they don't have anything available right now. The flash is still down for Nesquik. He's going to be a sitting target. Coconuts has the flash, but this is going to be another 2 kills going over for DCG. Subject's going to come out onto him. Nesquik's going to get the exhaust down onto Reels, but Reels will still pick up the kill, get that reset, and getting excited as they see now Coconuts are making her way into the jungle. Probably will use the Blesco to get over into the jungle pit, or into the dragon pit, as Wombat is there to escort their support to safety.
It was a great tornado to really deny the engage out from Genshu, but it just didn't matter. They put themselves in the alcove, as now we're seeing more again fighting. I think Wombat just going in and getting the trade that he can get with the Zoe. But kind of going back previously, Octofu's roam there onto that Zoe was fantastic. And that was the true flash coming out of the Zoe. Yes, it upset the Hextech Ultimatum a little bit, but we were seeing another fight.
Ooh, really good dodge away from the face breaker there. Tofu just going for these trades on the Super Chase, dropping under half health now. And we can see that Penguin is making his way up here, up into, almost stole the Herald away from him, but it was not able to, it was not meant to be. Ultimate did come out here from him as he does get that powered transfusion to try to get away there. Sejuani is not level 6, but that Sleepy Trouble Bubble is going to, nope, it's just going to get missed. He's going to get pulled away. He's going to, he flashed into the bubble.
Well,
But,
he also
you know.
flashed into nowhere. He wasn't living that one,
Super
but we're
Juice is
seeing
going to be able
more.
to use the his ultimate to try to get out of the fight there, but he's going to be left in the dust as the pillar is going to block him off from any escape exit. Meanwhile, Neebs is getting incredibly low. Going to be a kill picked up here from Wombat. Genshi getting also incredibly low, forcing the early stopwatch out of him too, and that's going to be a shutdown picked up here for Cloud. And it's going to be a quick 4 kills picked up for the side of Dare Scarlet, and they are putting themselves back onto the map with a gold advantage for themselves. Those were some really big shutdowns that were just given up to the side of them, and this Zoe now Wombat 3-0.
I said I didn't want to see the seesaw tray, and we got the seesaw. Plates going down onto the bot side while Coconuts and Nesquik just take those while Reels and Genshu were off doing their thing. And, you know, those kills going over, you got 3 kills on Zoe. She's going to be an absolute menace. If she's able to land these kill shots, people are going to be deleted. And Cloud Jonin just, you know, saw Mobster, tried to interfere with it, able to secure that Herald, and it just devolved from there. Yes, the trade kill did go over, but those shutdowns were massive. And now, like, what, I think it was a 2k gold difference in the side of DZG. Now it's a 300 gold lead for the side of Scarlet that quickly, and it's just devastating to watch if you're a DZG fan.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the gold is going exactly where Dare wants it to be going, onto the Zoe right now. Incredibly powerful. 3-0, just doing, oh my god.
No.
Scoops is dead.
That's
He's
done.
dead. Yep, that's going to be a solo kill picked up for Wombat. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble did land on the Mobster Penguin, and he's going to get absolutely eviscerated in that fight. Now, Zoe, 9 stacks on the Dark Seal, has the Lost Chapter. Tofu's trying to go for something on here. He's going to get hit by the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Neebs is there to try to do it, and that's going to lock her in, but the pillar position is just really, really awkward. Going to try to use the portal to try to get away there, and that's going to be a quick shutdown picked up for him, and Cloud is now on the wrong side of it. Red buff is going to, or Red Smite and buff is going to tick away down on him, but it will not be enough to pick up the kill onto the Sejuani. Neebs taking another turret shot there, also getting incredibly low now, as we see the Glacial Prison is up for Cloud, was potentially looking for something, but won't be, you know,
Camille with these
continuing
rooms
that
is
push.
doing a lot of work here, Trey, but we're looking at a 60 CS deficit. Got a plate here, which is nice, but that last fight was interesting, and it was super impactful. Not only did we get the shutdown gold onto the Trundle, but you also took away 5 stacks from that Dark Seal from Zoe. And Trundle out here doing his best Lissandra cosplay with that pillar and the Hextech ultimatum was certainly fun to watch, but Mobster Penguin here in a little bit of a suspect position. I think he's just going to be able to walk out of it, but...
Yeah, forcing the ultimate to try to just deter anything that Super Chase might want to do, but he did know that Tofu was looking to roam up here, and you're absolutely right though, Chase. 50 CS difference, 57 CS difference right now in the top lane. Super Chase has just been able to kind of permanently freeze these waves at his turret, and Tofu just doesn't be able to get anything off of it. So yes, this Tofu's 3-1, but that gold difference is essentially mitigated. Tofu's down XP. Super Chase is a higher level than him now.
Yeah, when we look at the gold here right now, Super Chase is actually sitting at a almost, no, not quite 400. Now 300 gold lead here onto the onto Alk Tofu. So teleport is available, and Tofu has been wanting to play around with his team more. So we'll see if that comes out to be an advantage. But and these bubbles are just absolutely scary as we're seeing the two.
Yeah, Herald is going to use top lane here, so you're going to see the ultimate from Sejuani is going to go wide. Tofu's going to get stunned up, does not have the Hextech ultimate available for himself. He's going to use the Ignite onto Super Chase to try to get him, but that's going to be an ultimate carry. Needs back under turret tower. Super Chase is going to be able to pick up the kill there, as he will be able to sustain through with this passive. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, we do see the heal come out. Traps aren't going to be able to land. The double roots coming up. Mobster Penguin has made his way up to the top lane. Super Chase getting incredibly low there. You're going to see the Haymaker thrown out by him. Pool is going to be able to use to dodge the face breaker from him, and that's going to be Sejuani Cloud trying to get on top of Mobster Penguin. The transfusion will be there, but Wombat has made his way up into the top lane now, and that's going to be a quick and easy kill. Arctic is just slowing him down enough for the paddle side to pick up the kill, and you can see that it's going to be a 1-for-3 in favor of Dare Scarlet, and that's going to be a huge ultimate coming out here from Aphelios, getting Genji incredibly low, trying to go for those aggressive plays on him, but you can see Coconuts is just content sitting back here, healing, shielding, keeping their ADC alive, just offering so much, and Jinx just doesn't have the range to be able to follow up with Genji quite yet.
And one saving grace for the side of DZG was that was a shutdown going over to the side of Wombat here. I'm sorry, Mobster Penguin here. So that was beneficial for the Vladimir. However, he's still sitting on 150 gold bounty because he's still 1,200 gold up on Octofu. Just these plates coming in, the tower gold coming in, and it's just putting him so massively far ahead. And I said earlier, oh, maybe Octofu will be able to do something in the side lane, but maybe not as this Drake started up, and DZG just do not have the health bars here to stay. Felios is but I don't think it's going to matter. He's got white and red guns. Not the combo you want to see if you're DZG and looking for this objective.
Well, yeah, and Super Chase is able to hold Monster Penguin in mid lane. Like, he doesn't have any kill threat onto this set. And with Wombat TP in mid lane and just running straight to the dragon, as DZG, you have to respect it, and they did. So that's going to be Monster Penguin getting picked up by the Glacial Prison, does have the empowered transfusion to be able to give himself away, so it's going to be an ultimate really burnt for nothing from the side of Scarlet there. But
that was super ambitious. Zoe wasn't even anywhere near that to make anything happen.
Oop, Battlestar did not quite connect. Sleepy Trouble Bubble is going to connect there. That's going to be a Vlad using his ultimate to try to get away, and Wombat's not going to even try to entertain the thought of it. Nesquik going to get flash ulted on here as we see the Pillar's going to be able to stop the knockback for him. He's going to be left behind by Coconuts as he is done and dusted now. 0 and 4 on this Aphelios. This bot lane from Dare Scarlet is getting absolutely eviscerated, and that's going to be another flash coming over from Wombat. Tofu looking for these roams again, now down almost over 60 CS to Super Chase in this top lane, who is incredibly strong.
And Super Chase just picking up that top lane tower, and yeah, Tofu's coming in trying to make something happen because he knows he cannot fight this set in the top lane. But bot lane coming out here, and I think that kill went over to Neebs instead of going over to Reels. That Super Mega Death Rocket was in the air. I think it was going to connect here. He's looking for the angle. Does hit. That's a lot of damage coming out. I think he's going to be able to follow it out. Flash comes out from Mobster, and it's not going to... Wombat just does not have enough to secure that. But kind of going back to my previous point is this bot lane, yes, it's going well, but it's 1,000 gold difference, whereas you were just bleeding out in the top lane. So DZG really needs to hope that they can play around the lead that they've generated there, but they haven't been. They've been looking top. They've been looking to counter what Sejuani wants to do with this Trundle instead of really trying to put their bot lane in the super great position. And the times that I think that Neebs have come down lately, yo, that's gotta feel bad. Are you okay?
No one, so no one but Tofu would have the thought process of, I'm going to walk up and auto attack this Gromp and the off chance that I steal it, and is able to secure it away from them. Genju going for the grand entrance on Super Chase, going to go just a little bit short on that though. Does have the dash to be able to get away, but that's going to be 5 members around this mid tier 1 for the side of DZG Olympus trying to take it down. And with the Herald getting summoned, that turret is in a critical shape, and if this gets broken open, they do have to be very, very careful, as it will enable the map to be opened up significantly better for the side of Dare. Turret's going to be just below 300 health, and it will fall there for them. Meanwhile, Wombat's just looking to get any Sleepy Trouble bubbles that he can off out into the side. Battlestar connects. If they connect at this point, it's going to be a lot of damage. Does have the Luden's finish, so this Zoe is online. Source shoes are done. 6 stacks on the Dark Seal, and 5 and 1 on the Zoe is not where you want to see her.
No, absolutely not. She's powerful, and I mean, Aphelios, not the best guns, but also not the best threat here from the side of Dare, so I don't even really think that they're trying to play around Nesquik here as they're looking for these fights, because at the time, I think he just had finished off Infernum and picked up the Gravitum, so sitting on Severum Gravitum, not the best guns for a fight, but yeah, so we see Ginchu going in.
Yeah, they're just going to be looking for him here, but Ginchu's going to be able to get knocked back, stunned, rooted, and that's going to be Nesquik going down here. Neebs picking up another kill for himself, his 3rd of the game. So it looked like for a moment that Ginchu had, overextended a little bit, but the Monsoon from Coconuts actually pushed him to safety, so the rest of his team couldn't really follow up, and it gave the opportunity for Neebs and Reels to follow up with their damage. But with these, these walks and resets coming in here now, we can kind of see the gold differences as it's essentially even in terms of team gold, but Set has a massive lead on top of Camille right now, and he's looking to really start abusing that. So DZG has to be careful, especially when he's going to be paired up with the Zoe. These fights can get chaotic and very, very unnatural very quickly, so that if you're not paying attention to it, someone's going to get one shot, be it by Set or Zoe.
Well, I mean, I think Octofu has looked at this point and said, my 2 jobs this game are to blow Zoe's flash and steal Groms, and other than that, like, that's what he is doing. So I think that we should probably have a fight coming up on this Drake. It's going to be spawning in 30 seconds. I think that both teams are really interested in it, but I think that it's going to be a little bit harder for DZG to get into the ideal position. And unfortunately, they're not really seeing a lot of these kills go over to the Jinx. Both times that there was kills lined up for the Jinx to really snag, Neebs was the one to take him. He's pumping damage. He's got the Sunder, he's got the Tiamat, and he's also got the stopwatch. They have eyes on that, but we see.
Well, they found Coconuts. That's going to be a pillar knocking her back, and that's going to be a knockout for her. One kill going over to Ginshu. Just overextended. Flash was barely coming up there for the Janna, but it was not going to be enough there. As you see, Real sights up the Palisade for himself, able to keep himself out of there. Super Chase running down Aqua Tofu right now. Going to be the leg sweep, just enough to get the slowdown. Reals is going to almost one shot by this Zoe. Absolutely massive. Forced to kite away and has to be very, very careful. But that will be the dragon going over to him, as we do see the first Hextech dragon of our series picked up. And we didn't really get to talk about it, Jace, but it is going to be a Hextech rift for us. So the portal play hasn't been super heavy from what we've seen right now. It looks like Super Chase thought about it and then decided against it. But I'm really interested to see if either team really, is able to play around with these portals to gain an advantage for themselves.
Yeah, and kind of going back to your point that you mentioned earlier when we were talking about these new souls, I do love how this is one of the souls that does not completely RNG shift or screw the game. Like, each team is theoretically able to benefit the most out of it. Whereas you've looked historically like, oh cool, I've got a Cloud Soul, but like none of my ultimates really effectively pop a Cloud Soul. That's cool. Like, those things have been frustrating, where you go into Champion Select and you don't know what Drake you're gonna get, and it just kind of throws a huge skifter. And sometimes, if it's in the case of, an Ocean or an Infernal Soul, could completely change the landscape of the game. So your game plan could have been going for Barons instead of Dragons, and then it shifts it on the head here. But we see Super Chase going in, staying true to his name, and has Coconuts this time. Maybe it'll be enough to secure this kill, and I think that will...
It's going to be a showstopper coming out there. It's going to be just enough to cancel out of
that
dance, but Neebs is going to be there. But, the rest of the team from the side of Dare is able to respond. TP is available for Wombat as he is dancing right now in the mid lane with Reels. It was a really good cancel, though, on the hook shot from Super Chase. He was really looking for it. That's going to be a charm landing up here. It's going to be a zap landing on it. Flash coming out here from Wombat. Sleepy Trouble Bubble is going to land just as an escape route, potentially, but Wombat is looking for it. Meanwhile, that's going to be a stun and a root coming out here on Neebs. Force the flash out of him. Cloud John is not looking to give up this chase, as Neebs is continuing to get slowed down. He's going to put down the Frozen Domain, try to get away, but that's going to be Super Chase TP down here up in this bot lane, finding his pick on the Master Penguin and Ginshu, who are going to just run away as fast as they can from them. And it will be DZG who have been routed. Nothing really of value gained for either team, but when you're DCG Olympus, you've finally clawed your way back into a bit of a gold lead. That's where you want to be. But now Master Penguin is looking like he's a little bit on the wrong side of the map, as 4 members for Dare Scarlet have made their way into the jungle, and that's going to be a knockup landing up on him. Predator's going to pop. He's going to get knocked up. He's going to get slowed. He's going to get slept. He's going to use the pool to be able to get away, as the sleep was broken a little bit early. He's going to get flash stunned. He's going to have the transfusion available, but the ultimate healing was not going to be in time, as he will ultimately fall down to Cloud Jonan on the Sejuani. 2-0, might I add, has been doing quite a good job of trying to keep their presence known and keeping themselves relevant. But again, we're seeing that CS deficit start to creep up there for them. Yes, top lane is at 60 CS deficit, but the jungle is also at a 60 CS deficit. The Neebs on this Trundle, up 1,600 gold right now, is absolutely massive.
Certainly, and that route didn't really net them much. They didn't have the tower position, or they didn't have the wave in position. I guess Mobster just thought that they took maybe the Hextech gate out, or I don't know what he was thinking, but there was no vision in there. As soon as they went into that fog of war in the bot side jungle, like, they were all completely invisible, and they knew that Mobster was there. The danger pings came out, and then Zoe just said, "Okay, cool, come in," and got a few more stacks on that Dark Seal. So yeah, it's unfortunate for Mobster Penguin just not having a great scoreline this series. His Cassidon was fine last game, and he's been doing work this time, but just the deaths have not been in his favor, as we see Neebs getting on Wombat here.
Yeah, it's going to be Sleepy Trouble Ball going up, but the rest of the team is going to be there to respond. He's going to get slowed and knocked up. He's forced to use the stopwatch, but that will be Neebs going down, as he's incredibly tanky, though. He's surviving for so long in this fight. He's still refusing to die. But at the end of the day, it will be Nesquik and Chill picking up the kill for themselves. Mid turret is going to be broken, and all 5 members are going to be running their way towards here. Dragon is going to be spawning in less than a minute, as we do have it being the Hex Tech Dragon. This would put DZG Olympus on to Soul Point. Key ultimates are going to be down. Well, not key ultimates. It's just going to be the Arctic, the Frozen Prison for Sejuani. But Ginshu and Penguin are looking for with Reels is going to be able to knock over, going to get taunted up, and he's going to be going down. Does not have the durability for it. Sleepy Trouble Bubble will be picked up here by Ginju. Going to get incredibly low as you see the Zoe damage come in, and they're trying to run into them, and that's going to be a failure. He's picking up a lot of chakrams. The Monster Penguin going in aggressively. Super Mega Death Rocket not going to be found, and he's going to be able to kill up there, but will get knocked up, will get pulled back. Meanwhile, Aqua Tofu has found Nesquik and Chill, who reset his gold values so kindly for them, but it's not going to be enough as Tofu does go down, and meanwhile, Wombat able to get into the backline, picking off both of the bot lanes for DCG Olympus, and that's going to be a pseudo ace for them, getting picked up by Dare Scarlet. And now again, Jace, the game is back on its head. The whole role has been reversed. Dare has the gold lead now.
I was actually about to criticize Dare before that play, and I still think it would be a valid criticism. They killed Neebs near Nash. They had 5 members all right there, control ward in the pit, and they saw that Reels and Genshu took mid tower and then walked down. Why not start the Nash there? But they came down. They kind of got a little juked out with that death brush, and Sejuani fell. And honestly, that fight was extremely well played by Wombat, who just instantly eviscerated Genshu's entire health bar. He was full pretty much after they killed Sejuani. 1 paddle star connected, and boom, now Genshu's practically on his way to the grave. Then I don't know what now is happening here, but Wombat playing like, you know, assassin duelist, like Talon in the back line, just murdering everybody. This man is insane in this game with a 10-stack Dark Seal and just landing everything.
Oh, that's going to be a dead Ginshu there. It's going to be able to get away just in time. Yeah, it didn't even connect. So Ginshu able to barely survive from that paddle star. If he hadn't jumped away, it would have been a kill picked up again for Wombat on this Zoe. 10 Dark Seal stack. Shadow Flame has been completed. And, you know, Jace, the thing that I'll mention real quick before we, you know, get inevitably into another fight is that Dare recognize that they don't have the damage to be able to take Nash as quickly as they did, and if they risk to do that, it would allow Reels to rotate bot lane with the side of Penguin and Tofu and just kind of melt through their turrets. But now they know that the TP's going to be coming in here from Monster Penguin. The Baron is at half health. Are they going to turn? Are they going to stick? And it looks like it's going to be a pillar trying to knock him up as they are sticking on it under 5k, 4,000 health. That's going to be Neebs getting rooted up, getting stunned up, and that's going to be a 2-man knockup coming in here for Ginshu. Who's on the backline is able to get on top of Wombat, locking them up as much as he can. Then that's going to be Monster Penguin getting in there, trying to deal the damage that he can. Sleep is going to fall in there, and that will be Tofu going down as Wombat is doing his best to survive. Super Mega Death Rocket is going to go wide, but the fight has been won. The team has been routed, and Dare Scarlet are trying to survive with the rest of their lives. That's going to, they see the Zoe, they see Wombat, they know where he is. Penguin just duking it out with Chase right now, getting a ton of health back from that empowered transfusion, and you can just see that Neebs doesn't necessarily have the health or the sustain to be on top of this Baron right now. Penguin has to tank the Zoe. Hextech Gate is coming through as the paddle star follow with her. It doesn't, but she's over the wall, gonna look for it right there.
Oh, Genshu, you monster!
This Jinx Reels will fall down. Super Chase make his way back into the pit. Smite is going to be available for Neebs. We'll be able to get it, but it's going to get stolen.
No, he stole it!
The Baron, he was able to get it away from the Baron. He will get shut down, but that is going to be 3 members from the side of Dare Scarlet who have the Baron up for themselves. And Jace, this is a hell of a game.
Oh my God! He had to smite for health, otherwise Set was going to kill him. And then I think that might have been the face breaker that came out to stop it, and then the debut coming out there, securing the kill onto the Nash. That was absolutely hype. And, you know, Ginshu just doing amazing things. If anybody is the player of this game, I don't care, even if Dare Scarlet win. Ginshu has just been an absolute animal. He went behind the pit with the Zoe ultimate and was just able to knock her out and secure that kill. And that was just fantastic to watch. But that steal coming in from Set, Super Chase has been doing work this game. Just running an absolute farm fest on this Camille, and then just providing so much safety and disengage with his ultimates here. And yeah, we're still neck and neck, 1,000 gold lead here for the side of DZG. But Trey, once again, I still have to go back and criticize Dare Scarlet. Like, they had earlier, they killed Neebs on the Nash pit like we talked about, and I don't understand why they didn't start it. Then they turn around with the Scuttle vision up for the side of DZG, undeniable vision. They start it. All 5 members being alive, they go ahead and start the Nash. So the previous reasoning for not being able to do it before is we see Tofu fighting Super Chase.
Yeah, Tofu's just going to be able to win that fight right now, but that's going to be Mob's Penguin going to get caught out here by 3 members. Does have the transfusion to be able to use the pool to try to buy himself some time, but doesn't have access to the Zionist. He's going for the Rabadons, and that's going to be him going down. Tofu's super routed. Super Mega Death Rocket is going to go wide again. Tofu does have the TP available for himself, but this is going to be their Scarlet's moment. They have the Baron, they have the push, they have the pick on the Vladimir. Their backline is safe, more or less, and it's going to be the first turret falling for this Baron power play for them, as they are looking to absolutely just demolish these turrets that stand in their way. Nesquik and Chill, a really rough start on this Aphelios, but is still looking to be as a very impactful player for his team.
Well, I don't know if you saw it or not, but Vladimir was sitting on a 600 gold bounty, and Aphelios just picked that up, so that's almost 1,000 gold going on in his pocket right there. His next back is going to be extremely beneficial, so I think he'll be able to finish out that Zeal item, and they're looking like they want to set up a Death Rush and deny DZG any chance of being able to contest on this 3rd Drake, but I think they know. They're pinging it out. They know. They are well aware that they are in that rush. They see him walking out now. They're passing through that control ward. DZG, what are they going to do?
Yeah,
as Genshu goes in with a 4-man knockup!
Super Mega Death Rocket's going to connect on the 1. That's going to be Tofu trying to jump in there. However, that set is absolutely massive. That's going to be another one going down. Reels is on fire on this Jinx. Picks up 2 kills for himself. Is kiting his way through the life. Fox Penguin picking up another kill for himself. Triple kill for the Vladimir. And that's going to be a clean ace for them. And that could very well be the game if they are able to get top lane in time, Jace.
I don't think they're going to go for it. They are sending a teleport up there, but that is just going to be the Camille to take that tower. But that game was a war of knowledge. DZG, knowing that they were in that brush, and as soon as they walked in, Genshu hit that button, and he was an absolute madman with the 4-man knockup. Real's damage was real. It was just absolutely insane, and Vladimir was able to do so much work there as well, picking up that triple kill. DZG just knowing what they had to do there in that moment, and really... We see this cold seesaw again. They were down 2k. That Baron power play was looking absolutely devastating. Aphelios getting back into the game. If DZG did not pull that trigger there, then it could have been an uphill battle. But now they're sitting here comfortably. 3k gold lead on Soul Point Trey. That fight was absolutely insane to watch.
Yeah, and you know, the triple kill picked up there for Monster Penguin. The fight was just very disjointed for Dare Scarlet. They got caught off guard, they got punished for it, and you know, the gold lead has equalized itself now. Monster Penguin ahead of gold on Wombat now, has the Rabadon's Deathcat finished, has the stopwatch picked up for him. This next fight that DZG Olympus has, they're going to be so incredibly favored. Look at Tofu, also has a stopwatch. That item is single-handedly going to turn these fights if Olympus plays it correctly. And, you know, with the way that they've been trying to be proactive throughout these games, it would not surprise me.
We're seeing the fight now again. Monster Penguin on Super Chase here.
He's going to get showstoppered in, and it's going to be a lot of damage. Pull forcing him away from the... Meanwhile, Wombat's going to get knocked up, going to get charmed, going to get locked up by the Camille. He's healing so much, has so much shielding on top of him. Tofu is going to go down. Ignite will tick down and eventually take him down, but Neebs now has the Guardian Age available. Will use the Subjugate. Knock up on Genshu will be there for him with the Grand Entrance. He will dash away to safety, but there comes Nesquik, and Chill does have the LDR, does have the Runons. This Aphelios is on 3
Monster Penguin!
Monster Penguin is just running down Super Chase, is able to pick up another kill for himself. Going on a rampage, and this is DZG's game to win. This is theirs to close out now. They just need to be able to hold on.
Absolutely, and once again, we're just seeing so much going on here. That fight in the side lane, you know, Vladimir just getting so much healing from this power transfusion. And I was going to talk about it before another fight broke out, but Jana's the only one with grievous wounds right now. And unless she, you know, hits somebody with a good tornado, Vladimir's just going to be able to heal and heal and heal. And that's what we're seeing. He's going to be an absolute threat. And I was a little scared for him at first, but with that fight with Super Chase. But, you know, those empowered transfusions, I think he went from like 5% HP to about 45 with just one of those Qs coming out. So this Nash being up now, I think both teams are going to have their eye on it. And DZG, if they posture correctly, I wouldn't want to fight him as Monster Penguin just running at Netflix and chill.
Yeah, he's going to have Super Mega Death Rockets coming out. That's going to be him being popped there right by the ultimate. He's going to get locked up by the Sedge running out. Will eventually go down to her. But that's going to be a pillar lock up 2 people. Wombat trying to walk his way out of it, but it won't be enough. Reels has now made his way up there on the Jinx. Is going to start getting excited. Does have the Super Minions pushing in the mid lane for Dare Scarlet, but it's not going to be enough. As look at Neebs on this Trundle. three half items, if that makes sense for anyone. But that's going to be an inhibitor going down. Super Chase just sitting under the turret right now, not really paying attention. It looks like he may just know that the game has ended. A little bit of a might have been even a DC, unfortunately for them. Not sure if the pause wasn't in time, but that's going to be Neebs going on a killing spree right now, and this is going to be the game going over for them. Nesco can chill up in 8 seconds, but first Nexus turret has fallen. It's going to be Cloud Jonan trying to hold it, going to get locked up, going to get knocked up, going to get stunned, going to get trapped. And that's going to be going down, and that's going to be DZG Olympus taking our series 2-0 for Dare Scarlet.
Oh man, that was a game to watch. That seesaw was in full effect, and you saw, looking at this right now, Cloud Jonin is like, oh wait, I might need Grievous, and I think he might have bought it in the death screen. I'm not entirely sure, but no, Vladimir coming back had a little bit of a rough game. That Zoe was a threat. Wombat was doing so much, but it just wasn't enough, and a little bit. I'm gonna have to be toxic here and just say that was bot gap. Reels and Genshu's engages, Trey, were just absolutely insane. This man should not be allowed to play Rakan. He was just doing work. There's no other way to say it.
Yeah, no, for sure, Jason. Like Dare was making the adaptations that they thought they needed to. And in the first game, from what we saw, yes, the Rakan was really annoying in lane, but we didn't see necessarily a ton of game breaking plays throughout in game one. From what we were able to see, that might have been in the later half that we weren't able to quite be able to see on stream. But in this game too, he was absolutely looking and finding multiple knockups and charms with his combo, and just being able to be in a position to do that is so huge for a composition like Olympus and what they have drafted for themselves. In all honesty though, like personally for me, like the player of the series has, like, I would have to say would be Neebs. This man absolutely demolished his jungle matchup 2 games in a row, was consistently impacting the map in every single lane and playing to where he needed to be. Game 2, he knew that his top side was getting frozen-eyed when I'm going to sacrifice that and we're going to get our bot lane further ahead. We're going to establish control and we're not going to let up on the gas. And, it really, really paid off for him.
Certainly, his game one effectiveness was just fantastic. But Genshu, those engages that I saw coming from this man around the Nash pit and that bot lane fight in that jungle were just absolutely insane. And then Real's just doing work. But going back, this Vladimir became an absolute monstrosity. 35,000 damage in this game, just doing work, eliminating. And you look, the Zoe was what 5-1 at one point, ended up with 9-5, and Aphelios was pretty close in the damage. Actually, ended up out damaging the Jinx. So not as completely underwhelming as I had initially assumed, but it was one hell of a series to watch, and I wish we could have saw all of Game 1, ladies and gentlemen. I really do, because the seesaw effect that we did get to see was super prevalent in Game 2, and Dare Scarlet put up one hell of a fight, I will say. I was scared a little bit for DZG at times. But with that being
It was
said,
very,
Trey,
very
anything
well
you want to
played by
say?
them. Like both teams really fought their hearts out, and honestly, it was a great series to be able to watch and to cast. And if this is the kind of the content that we're going to be seeing and the quality of games that we'll be seeing throughout this, I'm very excited for these next few weeks to see what will be brought against them as we get into our the rest of this preseason tournament.
Absolutely. Well, as I have said, DZG did take home the dub, so that's going to be 5 subs going out to everybody, and I'll go ahead and send that out now. And also, ladies and gentlemen, I am super excited, like I said, that we finally have our sponsorship. If you all could help us out, download Raid with our access code. We just need 8 more people. I'm going to be doing it right after this cast. Go ahead, so we can, keep bringing y'all awesome content like this, and hopefully just, keep watching Olympus just tear through the competition. But I'm always down to watch some good League of Legends, especially when it's our boys. So,
All right, friends, and with that being said, I am Trajan. I was joined by Jace tonight, and we will be signing off for the evening. Thank you for coming out. Tune in next week where we have DZG Olympus coming back for week 3 of the Lotus Primrose League. I don't actually quite know their opponent yet, but I'm sure it will be a great banger.
all right, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, you all have a nice night.